One.
Good evening, everybody. Today, myself, Aditya Nema, my friend Adiras Sahu and Aditi Rathi, going to present a topic in front of you of Bootstrap tutorial. Okay, so next slide. Next slide. So, what is Bootstrap? Bootstrap is an open source CSS framework widely used for responsive and mobile first front end web development. It is mainly written in HTML, CSS, VP, before, and JavaScript language. This was originally named after Twitter Blueprint, which was developed by Mark Otto and Jacob Thompson at Twitter. Okay, so next slide. So, as we have seen, it is mainly used for responsive websites on mobile internet. So, this is what a basic installation of Bootstrap looks like. So, next. So, what comprehensive set of plugins does the Bootstrap uses as these of the options, right? Like alert messages, like pop-up messages to the UI for the users, button which programmatically control the active states of the buttons, collapse buttons for a grouped data which is being collected in the collapse button. Carousel are the slideshows at to any page, including support for crossfade model popover are these basic different comprehensive set plugins. Next slide. So this is how a basic drop down menu looks like. When you click the drop down button, a list of functions or options are we starts to get available, and which each corresponds to different tasks. Next slide. What are the features of Bootstrap? So Bootstrap has many different features because of its expansive, comprehensive set of plugins, like grid system. Grid system is uses a tabular row column organized layout for contents which are structured and aligned to different keys. The component library, which provide wide range of pre-styled and customized components such as buttons, forms, navigation bars, alerts, and more. Okay, what is customization? While Bootstrap offers a default styling that looks good out of the box, developers can customize the framework to suit specific design requirements of the project. Okay, next slide. What are the advantages? Like advantages like rapid development, Bootstrap. First, one of the most advantageous feature of the Bootstrap it is open source, available to a wide category of people. Okay, so rapid develop because of this open source, many users can access it and develop it according to their particular needs. So it has a rapid development, consistency across different browsers and services. It is platform independent. Platform independent as it is open source. So it satisfies different machines and everything. Sponsored designs for different types of users. Next slide. What are the different disadvantages? So disadvantages like we have seen those plugins. So those take different file size. It it has a large overhead because extensive features provided by Bootstrap for unnecessary overhead. Simple website or application can be uh, even if a simple if we have to create a simple website or application using a smaller database, it can cross the Bootstrap can cross a basic file size. Dependency on JavaScript is major drawback of this Bootstrap. So people who are not knowing JavaScript may not use Bootstrap. Okay, so from now here, my friend Aditi will continue. Thank you.
Okay. Myself Aditi Rathi, and I'm continuing the further PPT. So here is some of the libraries of Bootstrap. So the basically the first library, which is Bootstrap Icon. It is library which is free source and it provide high quality of SVG icons that can easily integrate it into Bootstrap project. And it has a syntax of this like we declare first a class of bi space bi dash heart. We can use other name also. It is a name of the class specifically, but it is the whole scenario that we use the syntax like this. And we have to include this library, Bootstrap icon. So, like this library is usually included in the head section of our HTML file. And so, this is our first library of Bootstrap. The second library is Font Awesome. So this library is popularly icon library, provide a wide range of scalable vector icons. This provide a range of various icons to us, and it has a syntax of this shown in the screen. And similarly, like this, we use this in a head section of our HTML file, and it provide a wide, good quality of CSS framework to us. And the next is jQuery. It is a widely used library in Bootstrap in the current scenario. Uh, its recent version. Some older version is also used in jQuery, and its syntax is shown in the screen. And it is also used in the head section of our HTML file. Basically, whole library is used in the head section of our HTML file only. And there are various uses of Bootstrap. So the first is responsive. Bootstrap is basically user friendly and uh, very friendly interface for a beginner to use. Its mobile first approach, making it a go to choice for creating responsive website. And second use of Bootstrap is rapid prototyping. It's a pre-designed component and style. It has a predefined some styling which allow us to build a prototype more quickly and easily. Uh, its third use of Bootstrap is consistent UI or UX. Uh, Bootstrap ensure that a consistent look is feel across a different browser, whether we are using Google and Google and other Mozilla. Like we use a consistent over all other browser, and there are various other uses like cross-browser capability. Browser take care of many cross-browser compatibility issues, reducing the need of extensive testing and ensuring a consistent experience for user across various browsers. And it also helps in front-end development efficiency. Bootstrap simplify front-end development by providing a pre-used component such as navigation bar, forms, and many other buttons, which use us to make our coding more easy and friendly. We can also customize our Bootstrap like whichever we want. We use that style, and we can also use Bootstrap SAS variable to make it more customizable. It has a community support also. It has a large active community of developers, which is increasing day by day, and it providing a lots of resources to the Bootstrap and changing it according to our need. Or Adidas for the demo.
Hello, I'm Adras, and in this tutorial, we are going to learn about Bootstrap. We are going to talk about general Bootstrap code that we need to write in a web page to make it look good or to implement some Bootstrap properties. Bootstrap can be used to customize a particular web page or to define its layout, or we can use to define the content in the web page by Bootstrap. One of the most important things to use in Bootstrap is its form. In this tutorial, we will learn what Bootstrap form stands for. Bootstrap has multiple of useful components like alert, badge, breadcrumbs, buttons, and button group. One of the most prominently used Bootstrap class is Bootstrap card class and carousel class. We are also interested in learning about Bootstrap navigation class and Bootstrap toast class. Also, there's few helper in Bootstrap. We have clear fix and color background. That's it. All right. Let's start with firstly the color. Bootstrap is having a weird naming convention of color as primary term for green. So primary term for blue. Secondary is somewhat gray. Success means green and danger means red. Warning is for somewhat yellowish color and info is for somewhat bluish color. Light is for white and dark is for black. So these are subclasses that you need to implement in within a class. After talking about helpers in Bootstrap, we might be talking about utilities if time permits us. Let's talk about colored links. So this is some hyperlink which has its own color. And how do we implement it with the use of Bootstrap? Uh, all right. So this is the code of implementing link. We have a link of class with primary. We have a primary class. All right. So we now have learned to how to implement a particular hyperlink of color type. Let's talk about layouts. So the use of breakpoints in Bootstrap. This is essential to build a responsive design. We can also implement these breakpoints in CSS to make this particular web page responsive with respect to mobile and screen size. We use breakpoints. So breakpoints has its respective dimensions, and we can implement breakpoints with the help of this SM, MD, LG, XL, and XXL HTML code. So, all right, we have breakpoints for maximum width, breakpoints for minimum width. You can implement it by custom class with breakpoint of media, breakpoint up with small, large, and others. Containers, HTML, Bootstrap containers. These are the fundamental building blocks of Bootstrap. This can be used to provide padding to your content or to align your content with respect to given device that you're viewing on. So we have container as contain small container, medium and larger container. We have XL size containers and fluid containers that are completely variable with respect to the display size you are on. How you can implement a container class just by writing class in colon containers. We have small, medium and large outputs. Let's see some about outputs. All right, there are no. Within the CSS, these containers are just defining the size of the display by 540 pixels, 720, 960, and more. After that, let's talk about grids. So this is very generic example of grid. We have column 1, 2, and 3. And how did you implement this column? By implementing a class of container by texting, let the text be in center. All right. We have a div here by class called div another and last div by class column with the text of column within it. Particular column container. All right. In the grid system, we can also use small, medium, and larger size because each in a grid, each column is divided into 12 parts, with the smaller being in 3, mid being in 6, and larger being in columns, gutters, forms. Let's talk about forms. One of the most prominent thing in Bootstrap is the usage of forms. It's so simple to create a form with input of email address and password in Bootstrap. It's like a 10-line code with implementation of submit button. For this, you need to implement a class. MP3 is the container. We have type of email and class of form control with class of form text. This is the text we get on submission of form. And that's it. We have two types defined here as email and password. And all of these types have the classes of form control. And what's a form control? Now that can be used for defining the sizes or the form text or to disable the form. All right, enough of the form. Okay, we can also manipulate the form layout as example in the label be in this order or be in the order next to each other. Whatever. Alerts. What are alerts? Alerts are available in LLM. All right, let's talk about what is alert. It's the feedback message that we get for the typical action that the user takes. And there's a handful of alerts available in Bootstrap. Each alert can be defined its own color. To implement the alert, we need to have a class with alert and role of alert. We can also implement it. We can also provide a color to these alert. Badges, anything that's written in this square box after any text is termed as badging. We can also define color for each badge. Notification of 4. There are 4 notifications pending, and this 4 is particularly the badge. Badge can be implemented in buttons, but it can be positioned on the top of the button, or it can be just a solid box. How can you implement buttons in Bootstrap? By just typing a class of button with class BTN. Cards, one of the most prominent thing to do in Bootstrap is to implement cards. This whole is a card with its title, with its content, with its description and the content. All right, this is the card. This is the card title. This is the card description. This is the card list. Card body, card title, and card text. Just it's a simplest implementation. Just use the particular class of Bootstrap. You can have it. Carousels, it's like a slideshow. This is the first slide. This is the second slide. This is the third slide. You can implement it by using carousel class. And this is the inner item. This is the item, and this is the item that can be defined in the carousel. Close is to close the particular state of the application. Collapse drop down. We already discussed the drop down. This is the drop down button of action, some another action, and something else. You can just use the class of drop down. Navbar, simple implementation. You can use a class of navbar as band in a linear order if you want. And if you don't want in a linear order, you can have another class of navbar brand. But currently we don't have. What is this one? Navbar and text, placeholders, toasts, and many others. So we have just now discussed very basic Bootstrap classes and Bootstrap methods, and have a we just did a glance over the Bootstrap code that can be useful for you. Thank you so much for watching. We have now concluded our web development presentation on the topic of Bootstrap IT 38504. Thank you so much for watching.